I'm speaking to Kali Bagary, the CEO of the data company. Kali, thank you very much for taking time to talk to me again.
Tony, pleasure, always.
Yeah, it was great seeing you at the conference, and I'm hoping to see you guys again very soon when you come up to South Africa.
That'd be nice. It's always good to pay a visit and connect and see how the sort of business is growing out there in South Africa at the moment for us.
Absolutely. Kali, we've repeated the fact that data is the new oil so many times, but a lot of people don't really grasp the relevance of that statement. Now, the challenge with data obviously is you can harness the power of data properly. You can identify trends, you can predict risks, you can optimize your pricing models, all of these sort of things. But the challenge is always that not everybody knows how to do it. They're sitting with data that they can't manage. They don't know where to start, all of those sort of things. So this is where you guys come in with Migrate Finium. But obviously, you've got years and years of data experience. So from your perspective and through this period that you've been working with companies and their data, what are the main challenges that companies are facing when it comes to this?
Tony, one of them is, depending on the line of business, whether it's short-term insurance or long-term or wealth management, is in some of the sort of long-term funeral plans and wealth management, there are lots of legacy insurance products that have been administered on back office systems from different vendors.
Yeah.
So things like data quality for some of those really old systems, trying to move to more modern systems, can often be a big challenge for an organization because there probably haven't been that many touch points or reasons to update the data on those systems. Whereas if you look at short term, they're sort of annual or monthly renewable policies. The data quality in those systems often tends to be much, much better. So I think having lots of rules that are specific to products that may have been closed or no longer sold, but they're still sitting in those legacy systems, extracting that and some of that knowledge of the people who develop those systems, and even some of the technologies like the old languages like PL1 and COBOL, are becoming rarer and rarer. So that's definitely one of the challenges that we see, and that's where some of the experience we bring. I think the White Hair Show, we've been around a long time. So, from those early days, we understand how those work and how they can be applied and transformed into some of the more modern products or systems.
Yes. So, I mean, one of the big challenges now, obviously, the data company has been working in the space for a long time, as I said at the start, and you've got specific solutions for specific issues, etc.
Yes.
But now, a company sits at a particular point in time. They've decided to sort of maybe get more out of their data or to bring different data sets together, etc. The question then is, where do they start, first of all, in the decision of who do I approach? What do I do before I approach something? How much legwork is on my side before I even know what I need? How do you
So part of that
overcome
legwork, Tony, is I think we mentioned some of this at the conference as well, is really identifying the use case. Like you said, what is it you want to use the data for? And what we call them actionable insights. What actionable insights do you want to get? So is it, for example, are you trying to identify fraud? Are you trying to cross-sell or upsell products? Are you just literally moving from an old system to a new system because you're going upon a migration? And then one of the challenges these organizations have, like you said, it's not very often you change systems. So this isn't a normal business as usual activity. And then we often find that people quite often underestimate the planning work and the timeliness of starting these exercises. So it's really looking at what you want to get out of that exercise, whether it's just a move of the data from an old platform onto a new one, or whether it's to start, running things like predictive analytics models to increase your sales or increase the wallet share that you have with a particular customer.
And now, in terms of your process at the data company, when a company approach you, how do you proceed with them?
So the first thing we try and do is get the senior stakeholders together in a room or in a Teams call and run like a 2-hour, we call it a data surgery, where we've got 9 pillars of around data that are important, like the data quality, data lineage, data governance. So we'll try and understand from them where they are on that journey. And each organization is on a different journey. And where do they want to get to? So it's almost understanding, what problem they're trying to tackle and where do they want to be. Because then we can then focus on, is the issue around cleansing their data initially, so improving the quality of the data? Is it literally about extracting the data from some of their legacy systems and transforming it, maybe using some third-party data sources that are available to enrich that data? So that's typically where we start, is almost, the analogy like with a GP, when you go in and you try and explain what your problem is. Once he's understood the problem, he can then work out what you need to solve that particular problem. And we take the same approach with the data to say, don't try and do everything at once. Let's look at the use cases you're trying to solve and build on that and start getting comfortable that you can start getting return on investment on those use cases and then build on top of that.
And obviously this takes place before you contracting with a company. You assist them
Yes,
just to make some sort of decision so that they can understand what they need and why they need it.
that's right. And Tony, if it's literally somebody moving from, one platform to a new platform, there are different discussions. It's all around the strategy, do they want to do a big bang migration? Do they want to do it on policy renewal? And that depends on the products and the situation they're in and the risk that they want to take. So definitely it's understanding, like you said, what they're trying to achieve and then working with them and explaining the pros and cons of the different options they have. And almost part of it is during that exercise, we're trying to educate them, not to, if it's a migration, not to leave the planning and the mapping until too late in the process. Because quite often what we find is organizations go in, if they want a new system, they focus more on configuring the new products and the features, the functional features of the products, without really thinking about the data. And then the data migration becomes on the critical path. And then that gets difficult. So it's starting early is a key thing. And then, running it alongside your transformation and your implementation project is quite key for us.
Yeah. So now you've got a new solution called Migrate Finium, and we're going to discuss that a bit in depth in the next discussion. But maybe you can just give us an overview as to, what is the purpose of this Migrate Finium?
So look, with Migrate Finium, what we try to do is to apply our experience and create a platform for maybe different product vendors where we can very easily allow them to work interactively with us to define things like rules for transformation. So, on legacy systems, data exists as, let's take male, female. It may just be a flag, an M and an F. But if in their system it's a 1 or a 2, it's to help define those rules as to how you've got to transform the data to get it to the target. But around it, we built it in such a way that we can sit and interact with business users to define those rules, and then they can start using that platform to define the rules. We've also built a comprehensive sort of reconciliation suite, if you like, depending on the type of migration they're going to do, so that they know that data that was in their old systems has ended up somewhere in the new system or has been archived. So all of those reconciliations around financial reconciliations, policy counts, customer counts have been built into that over time. And that's where on the technical side, what we've done, we work with lots of different systems around financial planning, around CRM, around third-party data sources that are available from the market. So they're already pre-built. So it's much quicker when we go into an organization, if we know we need to connect to an Iris system, for example, or a Sapiens Edit system, or a Genesis Ski system, we've got those APIs that are already built into our platform.
Oh, brilliant. I look forward to unpacking that a bit with more with you in our next session, Kali. But thank you very much for your comments so far.
Perfect. Tony, thank you
Great.
very much.